Some weapons in video games are just dumb, but that's not always a bad thing. Today, gameranx brings you 13 dumb yet hilarious weapons in video games. Number 13, the Junk Jet from Fallout 3 and 4. In Fallout 3, it was called the Rock-It launcher, as in rock it. Two different words, but when you say rocket launcher, which is how you would say it, it's really confusing. So calling it the Junk Jet in Fallout 4, good idea. Basically, you dunk anything into it, and it uses it as a high-velocity projectile. It basically makes a hoarder into your worst nightmare, because they have infinite ammo. Although they probably won't want to get rid of it, so maybe not. Number 12, the Pepper Grinder from Alice Madness Returns. Because this list needs some seasoning, if you ask me. Ha 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 ha. So basically, you get the Pepper Grinder when the Duchess is making pig snouts, and she's like, hey, could you please pepper these pig snouts for me? And you're like, yeah, that's a normal question. I just came out of the Vale of Tears, which isn't really nice at all. And you want me to do like a fairly easy baking task for you. Because I guess you don't know how to pepper your pig snouts. But anyway, she lets you keep the Pepper Grinder.
Oh, thanks so much for peppering my pig snouts. You can totally keep that Pepper Grinder.
Which you can use to fire pepper as a projectile at the speed of a machine gun. Did I mention that the world of Alice is really normal? Number 11, speaking of normal, in Postal 2, you can use a cat as a silencer. That's right, take a cat, put its butt over your gun, and shoot bullets out of it, which somehow also magically doesn't kill the cat. But I'll say this, it doesn't really seem to silence the weapon that much. It seems like they just did it for comedic effect, like the intention wasn't practical. Or something. Number 10 is Mr. Toots from Red Faction Armageddon. Mr. Toots is a little unicorn who shoots rainbow fart lasers. That's a sentence. That's an actual thing I just said. Mr. Toots is actually a lot like the nano rifle from the previous game, Red Faction Guerrilla, and when he shoots something, he basically disintegrates it, and it falls apart and you can get salvage and all that crap. Whatever causes Mr. Toots' flagellation to be so destructive obviously doesn't make him feel that great though. It's a rough fart, and I get it. Number 9, the Cursed Gun from Borderlands 2. Now there's a side mission. It's not the hardest side mission, but it's not the easiest. And your reward for completing it is a gun called the Bane. Ooh, sounds kind of like a horror wrought on the ancient world and sealed away so that its evils are not used in current times. Oh wait, it's actually just a gun that screams at the top of its lungs when you shoot a projectile. It also makes you really slow. It's basically just a trolling on you as the player for putting some effort into a cool sounding gun. The Bane. Kind of makes the farting unicorn sound a little bit cooler, eh? Yeah. Number 8, the Anal Probe in Destroy All Humans. The Anal Probe's a little gun, and it supposedly goes in through the rectum and uproots the brain. If you charge it up, it causes heads to explode and you get to pick up brains. I don't know if you played it, but one of the objectives is to collect brain stems. I feel like there's probably an easier way to get the brain stem than going in through the butt. But, you know, I'm also not an alien. At least that you're aware of. Number 7, the Duke Nukem Shrinkray, which appears in both the 3D Duke Nukem games, Duke Nukem 3D and Duke Nukem Forever, slightly differently in both, but the general idea is that you can shrink enemies and then step on them. Now, there's a missed opportunity in this weapon that I feel is worth mentioning. Having an enemy that looks like Rick Moranis would have really completed this. A great crossover would be Fallout and Duke Nukem so that you could shrink enemies and put them into the Junk Jet and fling them at stuff. I don't know how legit useful it would be, but you'd want to do that, right? Number 6, the Land Shark Gun from Armed and Dangerous. Now we've shot pepper, we've shot laser farts, and we've shot junk. Just junk. But what if I told you that this gun shoots an infant land shark out, which rapidly matures and eats your enemy? Now, Armed and Dangerous isn't exactly a serious game, but let's go ahead and take it seriously for just a moment. Who funded the research and development for this bullshit? Hell, who did it? Who actually went, alright, I'll take that money and I'll develop this thing. Let's just ignore the feasibility of swimming through the land and say, alright, yeah, I'll take your money and I'll definitely give you a gun that shoots a shark and it swims through the land and kills your enemies. Like, you'd basically have to agree to that in a cynical, alright, I'll take your money, I don't give a shit way. But it worked out. Number 5, the Kitty Cannon from Sunset Overdrive. This is not like the cat silencer. You're shooting a stuffed cat, it's pretend. I mean, the cat silencer's pretend too. Postal 2 is a game. Remember? But like, In world, it's pretend. There's no what the fuck aspect to this one. Basically, there's a robot dog that likes playing fetch and is also very powerful, and you lure them around with a stuffed kitty that you shoot, and wherever it lands, the dog goes to it and blows up a bunch of enemies. It's maybe a bit arbitrary or even dumb. You know, like the title of this video. Number 4, the foam finger gun from Dead Space 2. Known in-game as the hand cannon, really depending on how you look at Dead Space 2, this might make complete sense to you. There are some people who view this game as though it's going on entirely in Isaac's head. But he gets his big red finger, and he points it at stuff, and he goes bang bang pew 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 bang 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 pew. Bang. And it really doesn't sound any cooler than that. It's pretty much a pretend gun. And not pretend in the way the kitty cannon is, or really any of the other guns. It's pretend for Isaac. But it works. It works, that's the point. So really, I have no idea what it's trying to say about the game. It might be saying, you crazy people who think that this is not actually happening in world, you're right. Number 3, Gunchucks from Bayonetta are dumb in the way that they are utterly unnecessary. You do not need a pair of nunchucks that are also revolvers. And yet, like everything else in Bayonetta, it's irresistible and fun as hell. The only thing I want to know is why can't I shoot pepper out of them? I mean, I've tried pepper on my eggs. It makes them much better. Number 2, the Inflato Ray from Saints Row. You ever looked at somebody's head and go, man, that person's head needs to be about 3 or 4 times its size right now. I know every time I go anywhere, it's all I think. Saints Row the Third granted my wish. As you might expect, not only did we get the Inflato Ray, but we also got a variation on the shark gun from Armed and Dangerous called the Shark-O-Matic and the Dubstep gun. And finally, number 1, Ratchet & Clank's Quack-O-Ray, which can turn your enemies into ducks. And you know what ducks can be seasoned with? Do you? Orange, actually. The French call it duck à l'orange. It's quite a delicacy, actually. Very tasty. When you upgrade the gun to level 2, from that point on, the ducks that you transform lay eggs, which then hone in on enemies and blow up. Basically, what I'm trying to say is don't underseason your food. I mean, the guns in these games were a lot of fun, right? I didn't make a running gag specifically to tell people that their food is underseasoned or anything like that. Why would I do that? That's weird. No one would do that. What's your favorite weird gun in a game? Any game. Let's meet in the comments and have a conversation about that. I'm sure there is something funny that you have played that we didn't mention, or you just really enjoyed one of the things that we did. And if you did enjoy this video, by the way, please click the like button. If you're not subscribed, now's a great time to do so. We upload brand new videos every single day of the week. And as always, we thank you very much for watching this one. I'm Falcon. You can follow me on Twitter @FalconTheHero, and we'll see you next time right here on gameranx.